We are now live. Hey everyone, Justin Starbird here, founder of the Tag Awards. Thanks for jumping on our live Q&A this morning. I really appreciate it, and excited to share more about the Tag Awards with you. For context, the Tag Awards actually got started on October 4th of 2024 with our team during a brainstorming session as we started to think about the gap in different industries where innovation wasn't necessarily recognized and honored the way that we thought that that it could be. And it genuinely comes from a place of passion to see those innovations actually have an opportunity to be exposed to the greater good. And so often these solutions that we've been able to see and have a chance come through in the program are solving the world's problems that most people don't even know exist. So we started in medtech, and the reason we started in medtech was because that's where we saw the biggest opportunity and the biggest gap, where there had been several awards previously that had decided to go in other directions or leave the industry altogether. We thought it was a great chance to bring those innovators and innovations and technologies at the cutting edge forward in an effort to give them the exposure that they so truly deserve. We've done that for 2 years. This year was even more successful than the last. Our partnership with Informa and MD&M events really have given us this incredible platform to showcase the medtech industry in a light that hadn't been done before. We decided after that to expand into the business to business realm, another area where there just seems to be so much opportunity, and companies are supporting other businesses in ways that generally don't get seen from the general public. And often those companies that are supporting business growth are the secret sauce behind the successes of their clients, and they don't get the chance to revel in that spotlight. And so the B2B Innovation Awards was born, and we're so excited about that because it gives an opportunity to really spotlight those companies that are driving change and are behind so much of the success that's happening out there. And so we're so excited to bring this forward. As you have seen, if you've been following us at all, we just extended the deadline to August 18th. Previously, it was on July 31st. And the reason for that was, well, it's summer here in the United States. And as a result, it is very difficult to herd cats, as they say, and pull content and get approvals from those up if everyone's on vacation. So we heard from the teams, we listened, and we extended the deadline until August 18th. So we're going to jump right into that. But first, I really want to make a true shout out to the team behind the Tag Awards that makes all of this possible. So I know you see me here today, but truly it takes an army in order to make all of this happen. And without the support and the work that goes into this, we wouldn't be where we are today. Companies wouldn't have this opportunity for recognition. And truly that is because of Lauren Damon, Jessica Cummings, Aaron Cobb, and Andrew Quinn for making this all happen. And so thankful to them to make me look good and be able to produce such a high quality program for all of you. So we're really excited about that, and I'm so thankful to have such a high quality team behind us that truly has vision and creates strategy for this campaign, for all of you to have that opportunity for recognition. So thank you. One thing that we get asked a lot is about the TAG Awards. Of course, the affiliation with the Abley Group, which is the agency also that we own, is, generally speaking, serves three different types of clients. Certainly the B2B, current customer and existing businesses that are looking to grow, scale, and potentially exit. On the other hand, we also work with a lot of founder-led businesses to help them do fundraising and equity crowdfunding for an opportunity to help them grow and enter the market. And of course, the third leg of that stool is here at the TAG Awards. But the TAG Awards don't stand for the Abley Group. Although it's cheeky and a play off of our name and branding, truly we've actually we don't have any of our clients participate. I feel like there's a little bit of conflict of interest, and the TAG Awards do not stand for the Abley Group. They actually stand for technology, achievement, and growth. And we chose those three things because it's really representative of all of the different industries that we hope to create awards programs for. So you have, of course, cutting edge technology that is generally, new to an industry or new to a business, and therefore really easy to see the innovation behind something that's brand new and that's new to a market. On the other hand, achievement and growth sometimes are a little bit more difficult and subjective, and achievement is something that from our perspective, we're looking at milestones and what have you been able to accomplish in terms of new customers, or being able to enter your market, going deeper and wider. And then of course, growth is how big has the company become. So we try to use those three principles as our North Star to look at and view through the lens of the nominations that we get. And for us, that's so important because it's not necessarily a sales pitch, right? Your award is not a sales pitch. It is an opportunity to take a look back and see how far you've come so far in an effort to not just gain recognition and praise, but also showcase the work that the team has done to get you to where you are today. And for us, that's a lot of the feedback that we've gotten over the last couple of years has been the instrument that the awards are to showcase what has been accomplished by the team behind the scenes. And that is such a unique way to galvanize a company, and also increase and improve company culture, as well as hopefully get some exposure that you wouldn't have had otherwise. So this session here today is to help you get your submissions across that finish line and answer questions that you may have had that were unable to bring forward. So we have a lot of those to get to that folks have sent in, and really appreciative of the audience there that has taken the time to give us some of those questions. Before I get to that though, I want to talk a little bit about the four principal elements of criteria that we're looking for, and that's innovation, impact, timeliness, and relevance. And we chose those four pillars, if you will, to represent or help you represent how you have achieved your growth, your success. Your technology has improved the lives of others. And what we're looking for in each of those, I'll go through them individually, is a way for you to communicate what makes you better, unique, or different, novel, that is out there already. And so by giving you the opportunity to answer those specific questions and then add videos or images, tech decks, or data sheets, all those things are there to support that. But this is a way to articulate what makes, in the first instance, innovation. What about your platform, your technology, your service, or your company is innovative? How does that infrastructure really solve the problem differently than what's been done before or what's out there in existing markets? I think that's, why we lead with that, because that really helps strike a chord with our judges so that they can understand where you're coming from and why you're attempting to do this. The next element of criteria that we look for is the impact. Thinking about the B2B Innovation Awards, often we know that you can't talk about your clients, but you can talk about the impact that your solution is having on their success. And so that's really important for us to look at and, take a look at the direct operational or business metrics that show how the technology moves that needle for your clients and at large the industry. So those are things. The first two are really important because it helps the judges get a good sense of who you are and what you're solving for. The third element is timeliness, because we only go back, or we try to go back only 12 months, and give you a window to show where that success has happened and what the progress has been made. Now, often folks are using the award as a launch point for their new venture or their new solution, and that's equally as exciting because you have projections to share. And we understand that not always are you going to get to those projections. Sometimes you may exceed them, but what we try to do is take that with take that in and understand how you got to those numbers and when it was released and what the impact has been on there. Some other nominees are using it as sort of the middle campaign. So it's been launched for a little while, and this is an opportunity to give it some momentum. And really, this solution or the timeliness, what we're asking from you is to answer why this solution matters right now, in this instance, at this point in history, in this point in our economy, or in our society. And so those things we try to use as a mechanism to understand and see what potential future growth you have as well. And then finally, the fourth element of criteria that we're looking at is relevance. So, it's interesting because often we'll deal with a lot of engineers and they've maybe built something and hope that the customers are going to flock to it. But relevance is really about, are you answering the demand that's out there and solving for something that people really want and are looking for, and that will make an impact on the lives of the user. So relevance is really important to us because it's the clear alignment between your technology and the specific industry's pain point and its environment. So hopefully that gives you some context as to the questions that we ask. We do try to make this application or nomination process as simple as possible. Often folks are able to do it in less than half an hour. And we have some character limits and those things. So you do have to be concise with those four things. And then everything else is to support it. So your social channels, videos, images, who's been part of it, those things, are there dates of launch or preparedness, all of that matters in there. But really, these are the four questions. And then our panel of judges score that data and the metrics, instead of looking at multi-page PR decks or slideshows or sales pitches. We're looking to evaluate the data that you also provide. So all that is there to support your nomination, and our goal is to give you feedback to help in the business as well. So hopefully that covers pretty pretty much your nomination process and what we're looking for. So the next question that we get is, well, why should I participate? Why should I nominate for the TAG Awards? What are we going to get? You guys are brand new. This is your first year. what's the return on investment? You're asking for $849 for a nomination. What are we going to get? And I love that question, because as somebody in marketing that looks to these awards as a mechanism for validation and social proof, that sometimes is invaluable to have a third party look at your product and say, hey, we think this is a really great fit for the problem and the solution that it's problem that it's trying to solve with the solution that's created. And having judges in the industries that are participating is a huge win, because then you're getting also their comments. So the first thing that you get back is, as a winner, you get validation that your solution is actually solving a problem, that it's making a difference, and you get the judges' actual feedback in a consolidated form, but the judges' feedback for you to use in quotes for press releases. We attribute it to specific judge as well, and give you the best opportunity to use that in your future marketing. So that's pretty exciting. This year we have some really great judges participating, including Sasha Derry from Blue Shift Aerospace, Craig Charlton from Wexford Labs, and I actually see on our website we'll be announcing several more on Friday. So lots of excitement in and around that, and so those are the first thing that you get. That's sort of an intangible. Additionally, of course, you get the TAG Awards winner seal, and the top overall score also receives top innovator seal to use in marketing, on your website, on your product, on service, to help provide some additional social proof and show what you've actually won. Finally, or not finally, the next thing that you get is the physical TAG Award, which is pretty slick. We spent a lot of time designing these, working with our partner to be able to do that. So you also receive that with the name of the product and the year that you won the award. Finally, you receive a guest spot on Tagged Beyond the Award, our podcast dedicated to the TAG Awards. So we bring on the leadership from all of our winners and invite them to share some behind the scenes, what went into creating the service, product, technology that you have submitted, and learn more about the team, learn more about the company, and also what the award does for you. We use that and send it out to our thousands of listeners on Spotify, YouTube, and all of the different social platforms, as well as using our newsletter, and it lives forever on our website. So you can go back and hear from not just our winners, but we also invite some experts. So we have some award writers that come on and share best practices, as well as our judges from each of the awards. So you'll hear from them what they're looking for. So stay tuned. Those will be posted later this month and early next month before we announce the winner. So and then start inviting them onto the show as well. So that's really exciting, and very much looking forward to our panelists or our judges and having them on. Also looking forward to all of the winners to come on and share more about their product. So hopefully that gives you a really good overview of the awards, what we're looking for in terms of criteria, and how to write the awards themselves, and then what you get out of that. One other thing that we also do is a press release and that announces our winners as well. So there's a lot that goes into it. We pack a lot of value into that $849 and try to make sure that that any one of those things is worth at least that much in marketing. Tied together, you have a wonderful cog to add to your engine and your strategy for the rest of the year. Not to mention, the announcement comes just after the second new year. We affectionately call Labor Day the second new year here at the TAG Awards, because everybody's sprinting towards the fourth quarter to get hit their numbers. And especially this year, 2026, has been we'll say, a challenge for a lot of businesses. So having a great way to, push into the end of Q3 and into Q4 to the end of the year is really exciting. So we're very much looking forward to all of that. So again, get your nominations in. The extended deadline is August 18th, at 11:59 p.m. So we're looking forward to all of your submissions. Now, that said, we've also had several folks write in because they were unsure of if they would be able to participate in the live webinar, so live Q&A. So let me get to those real quick and run through them. So just want to address some questions. We had some that were based on categories or strategic alignment, others that were more in the judging. We had a couple from the PR agency, and then logistics and even the deadline. So we got a few here we'll run through, and then see if there's anything else I'm missing. So the first question comes from James. What if our solution is strictly white label or bound by an NDA with our client? Can we still enter without naming names? Ooh, that's a tough one. Great question. It's, first and foremost, you need to abide by whatever contract you have with your existing client base. So we don't want you to, be in breach of anything and then blame us. But there are ways around it. And often that is by providing anonymized data or being able to talk about what the solution does. However, you name it internally and use that for your award submission, as far as like adding videos and imagery. What we would suggest, if you're not able to show it, would be to have somebody create a video, a loom or something that allows you to talk about it in a way, because those videos we don't make public unless you give us permission to. So if you're able to share that and really drill down into how you're helping those clients, that would probably be your best bet, in my opinion. Next question from Dave. We have a lot of products in our ecosystem. Should we submit our company overall or focus on a specific feature and platform innovation? Good question. So generally speaking, I would say you want to focus on a specific platform, or specific product, or specific service. And by doing that, it allows us to really, see how that moves the needle in the industry. If you have a platform that solves it with multiple products, then you can talk about the platform, and then I'm sure there's a video that explains how those pieces fit together. I would say if you have several products that go into different industries, you probably want to focus on one at a time. That said, Dave, you can also submit multiple nominations. So that's, if you need specific clarification, you can go ahead and email me or Andrew, Justin at tagawards.co or Andrew at tagawards.co, and we'll help dig into that for you. This one is from Sharon. Is this award meant strictly for early stage startups, or do mature enterprise companies enter too? Good question. Yes, the answer is yes. Hopefully, if you're a mature enterprise at this stage, you're continuing to innovate. You've got R&D, or you're looking to update your products and your suite of technology. So you want to be seen as an innovator, somebody that's continuing to push the envelope in your industry. So absolutely yes for enterprise companies. In fact, one of the companies that we have so far that was submitted last week is one of the top 4 medtech companies in the world. So they continue to push the envelope and test boundaries and create innovative solutions for the world's problems. So 100%. And of course, early stage startups generally are, trying to recreate an industry or create their own industry. So of course they matter too, or they would match. All right, let's see. We have this one from Jamie. How detailed do the metrics need to be? Do we need a fully designed case study deck or just baseline numbers? That's up to you. What can you divulge? You want to make the nomination as interesting and compelling as possible. You don't want to give away data that you're not allowed to, and you need, we're not going to ask for quote proof, but it's got to be something that we can use, especially if you have a competitor that's also nominating in the same space. So, I defer to your judgment on those things with metrics and information. And what I would do is use the data to support the answers to the 4 criteria questions, really, would be your best way to use that. So hopefully that helps. All right. Here we have Susan. Can you explain more about the judges' feedback notes? How detailed are they, and when do we get them? So great question. So after all the nominations come in, the team creates a rubric and for the judges to use. So it consolidates basically your answers so that they can judge each of the 4 criteria questions and use the ancillary supporting videos, images, anything else that you added for them to review each nomination. So that's what they're getting. So they're getting your full nomination, but they're getting it in a way where they can, it's very consumable for them. Then they rate each of them on a 1 to 5 basis, and that's how we get our score. So from there, and based on the information that you share, the judges add 2 to 3 sentences of their feedback, either about what the product does, anything that maybe is missing in the product, or how well they feel in terms of supporting its the nomination itself, and say what a great job you did. So generally it's 2 to 3 sentences about the products, and generally in a way where it's consumable so that you can share it. And then if it doesn't win, we've had nominees that certainly go through the process and are not finalists or not winners. You understand why. Maybe you left one of the answers blank, or it didn't fully answer what was being asked. So, those are definitely ways in which to, approach it. So I go back to using data to support the answers to each of your 4 questions, and that helps the judges provide the best feedback possible. All right. Let's see. We have Deborah. I manage account teams at a PR agency. Can we enter multiple clients at once or manage their drafts under one master account? Great question. We do not have that functionality to enter under a specific master account. So each one has to go through its own process. We could work with you to take a payment all at once for them instead of having to pay each individual submission, but you would need to fill out each nomination really specifically and go through the process again. So that part can't really separate and put under, or our platform doesn't allow us to do that, where you can see them all in one dashboard. So we're working on that, hoping that comes, that's in our product pipeline for us to continue to push forward, but that is not something that's functional right this moment. So, all right, last one is from Matt. What actually happens after the August 18th deadline, and what does the judging timeline look like for winners? Good question. Puts a lot of pressure on our team, I'll tell you. So once with the extended deadline, and of course it being summer, and as I mentioned earlier, sort of herding cats in the way that you got to pull information together, that's so tough. What I would say is our judging window is going to open as quickly as the next day, and give our judges 2 weeks to review the nominations and give feedback. So that's going to happen the week of so it'll be 19th. So it's a Wednesday through the rest of that week. And then the entire week of August 24th is going to be used for judging. Then we will be announcing the winners under embargo to the nominee. So the person that made the nomination will be our point of contact unless specifically requested otherwise. They will get a note, I believe it's the week of September 14th-ish, with heads up that, hey, you're going to be named a TAG Awards for Business to Business Innovation winner. And here's our drafted press release with quotes specific for them from the judges for them to use and get their assets ready. We'll also provide the seal at that point. And then what we're looking for is the week of September 21st, making the announcement live. So we'll do that here probably, some slick slides and some B-roll to show you, and we will do that as a live event. And so we're pretty excited about that, and how we'll follow that format. So, you know, it does put a lot of pressure on the rest of the team to get these things done, but we are very excited about it, especially with the early nominees that have come in. So don't delay. I would say, you know, spend the time that it takes to create a great overview and a great nomination. When you go to tagawards.co, there's also an opportunity to download our nomination guide, which has a link to a Google Sheet in it that you can use to draft the questions and then copy them and paste them into the form itself. So then you go to tagawards.co/nomination, and then there's a registration page where you get started. You then get the link to actually complete your submission. And then at the end, it's a really simple checkout process. And if you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas, or even, you know, you submit and you're like, oh, shucks, I'd like to make an edit, just let us know. You'll get a note from me, Justin, at tagawards.co, or I'll have Andrew at tagawards.co follow up and answer those questions for you. So really thankful for the opportunity to be able to do this. Thank you all for made the time this morning to get your questions answered. Thanks to everybody that wrote in earlier. That was awesome. So cool to see the community starting to grow and develop, and folks putting this on their calendar. So really looking forward to all that is to come, and the nominees that come in, and just the chance to, I think it's one of those passion things where we feel so fortunate to get to see the solutions to problems that most people don't even know exist before they become household names. And so that part about this really helps refill our cup, and helps us really get charged up for the next program. So thank you all again. Thank you to the team, and for everybody that, you know, made this possible. Really appreciate it. All right.